Hey, Anders, how you doing?
Hey, doing well, doing well. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for doing this. Hey, just reflecting on your season here. It was kind of a little bit of a do-over after your first two seasons were cut short there. I'm sure you had time to think about it and reflect upon it. And I don't know if you've gotten a lot of feedback from coaches and whatnot, but how would you characterize it?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I definitely have had time to reflect on this past season with all that's going on right now. I think it's a little uh different because obviously this season hasn't ended, so like there wasn't hasn't been much feedback from the coaches, I would say, just because we're in this like limbo right now. So we're just all kind of taking it day by day, and the season hasn't even ended, so it's kind of hard to review before since it's not over yet. But personally, I've thought about it, and I think there's some positives for sure. I think thing that I was most pleased about was staying healthy the whole year, but I think I um, grew my game a good amount and developed the consistency that I've been focusing on. And then I don't think that's nearly where I want it to be, but I guess I would say I kind of began the development of that consistency. And so I'm pleased about that, but I think there's a lot of areas that I want to improve on when the season starts back up again, or whenever that may be. And I think a lot of it has to do with my a little bit like poised with the puck and being ready to shoot. But I would say a lot of it has to do with playing a little more feisty and gritty. I'd say I think that's when I have had my best games, is when I've been playing with that extra grit, I'd say.
Thanks, Anders. We'll take our next question from Connor Ryan.
Hey, Anders. Thanks for doing this. When it comes to rounding out your overall game, how much of it is it a luxury that, being with the Bruins, that, you're only a stall or two away from a guy like Patrice Bergeron or a player like Brad Marchand, where you get to kind of pick their brain and learn from them as to how to kind of improve as a 200-foot player up in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that is extremely special. I think the guys that I can look to on our team for an example of, I think the biggest thing I feel like that I'm noticed that I'm grateful for is just the day-to-day example they set. And like literally you can just be like, if I want to be that good today, I see them working on this or talking with their line mates about face-offs or whatever it may be. So it's like, all right, if I want to be that good, that's what I kind of have to do. I have to, what from last game can I work on today? And I think it's, something that I'm very grateful for, because, as I said, that example is set every single day. And, it's something that I really try to follow along. I think it's challenging to do that because, guys like Bergie and Marshy and Z are, they have it down to, I mean, I know they still work to improve on things, which is what makes them so good, but it's their habits that make them work hard every day. And I think it's kind of take a while to build, but the fact that I have that example right in front of my eyes each day when I go to the rink is pretty special, and something that I definitely have been trying to take advantage of, but want to take more advantage of for sure.
We'll take our next question from Emily Benjamin.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi,
Brad Marchand.
well.
Yeah, Brad Marchand earlier in the week or a couple weeks ago was talking about how he was looking at some of the moves you have and trying to learn some from you this year. Is that something you knew? Is that something you had conversations with him about?
Yeah. Well, I talked to Marshy about stuff like, I don't know how many moves he's copying me on, but I definitely, he really, he reached out to me a lot of times just in practice and stuff, and would, teach me something, or, ask me what I'm thinking at certain plays and stuff, which, the reason he was doing that was to help me, because he saw I was trying to work hard, and I think he respected that and wanted to help that. And, he has so much expertise that, I definitely welcomed it. But I think that kind of caused us to have more conversations during the year, and I, go to him because, I started feeling like more comfortable asking questions, even if I thought they were kind of dumb or whatever. And he is incredibly welcoming to that from anyone. So, that was pretty cool, and something that I took advantage of more this year. And so I think we kind of had a bit of that relationship where we would be talking about plays and stuff. And so I think it was definitely mainly me asking him things and trying to learn what he does. But I think, a couple times he asked me what I do on certain areas. I remember one time, like during 2-on-1s in practice, he asked me, how I do a certain move before I shoot and stuff. So, I think, that having him have interest in some little move that I do is, huge confidence builder for me. So, kind of relates to that last question. I forget who asked me it, but that, we are on our team are so lucky to have guys who have that passion like Marshy and that work ethic, and set that example for us. Because, it's been huge for me, especially this year coming off injuries. Guys like that and little conversations like the ones I've had with Marshy have really inspired me, and, kept me motivated and working hard throughout the season, which, as everyone knows, is long and grueling.
Thanks, Anders. We'll take our next question from Matt Porter.
Hey, Anders. I can confirm that Marchand does take stupid questions from reporters too. He has time for us when we ask him. Obviously, part of kind of building your game is, doing whatever you can do to train right now. I'm curious about your setup, if you could describe it, and what you're doing. I know I'm assuming your brother's there. Kind of, you guys are pushing each other. What does the training regimen look like right now?
Yeah, so it's obviously, a little different because we're literally stuck at home like everyone. But fortunately, we have a pretty good setup. I think it's pretty decent. So that's been good. But I'm lucky too, because my younger brother plays hockey and he's really trying to train right now. And then my sister's husband, who is back here, he plays professionally over in Europe, so he's training too. So we got a little got some hockey guys to keep each other honest and make sure we're doing our stuff. But we have some weights and stuff in the basement, so we've been lifting a good amount and doing workouts down there. So that's I feel pretty lucky to have that, because I didn't have that back in Boston. So we have some like dumbbells. We have a bench press and like a trap bar and stuff. So we have and a ton of bands. So talked with our strength coaches, and they put together a program. So that it's been good. I feel like we've been able to have some pretty good lifts. And then the challenging part for sure has been conditioning, especially staying in skating shape, because you can't skate at all right now. But me and my brother ordered rollerblades right as I was coming home, basically, because we actually play a lot of roller hockey together. But now we've been doing that a good amount, but also been using it as a training tool. So we'll do like interval training on rollerblades, like some sprints. And there's a hill by a house that we go to and skate up it and do interval training on that. So it's been, I feel like we've had to be a little creative, but It's also been kind of fun, I think, and kept us busy trying to think of ways to, stay in good shape and, try to get a leg up on the rest of the hockey guys out there with the tools we have here. So, that's been sort of the challenge, and that's kept us busy right now. So I think, and we also have a shooting area in our basement. So we try to do that after each workout to improve on our shot a little bit. So, sorry, I rambled there, but I hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Anders. We'll take our next question from the esteemed Mike Loftus.
Anders, how are you? Esteemed means oldest guy on the call, I think. I wanted to ask you, so right before the pause, there was the trade deadline. You guys added some players, and one of the trickle downs, I think, was that you were out of the lineup a little bit toward the end there.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of a did you see that as a setback or a challenge? And B, if you're allowed to come back, how much of a motivator is that going to be for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge motivator for me, especially right now, because I think the competition in Boston is always there. Just, I mean, you guys know how good the team in Providence is. Guys are always pushing to come up, and just the guys that are scratched are, I feel like that's the hardest part of our coach's job, is deciding who is going to play, because the competition is so tough. So I think that's always been a motivator, but with the trades and with me going out of the lineup right after that, I feel like, I gotta put my work in to earn my spot back. And, I think that's the culture on the team for sure. And that's how we've been successful, as guys are constantly pushing each other, because you have to if you want to play. And I think it's tough for sure to embrace that, but I think it's really important to embrace it. And when that's a big challenge for you, you got to really work to find a way to embrace it, and use it as positive motivation and not getting upset or negative motivation. I think, honestly, that's kind of what I've been trying to do right now. Obviously, it's a weird time, but I think, I have opportunity to train here and work on things. And, I think my game wasn't exactly where it needed to be at right before this pause. So, I have time to try to work on it as much as I can. And, that's definitely helped me motivated and kept me working out and training through all this. So I think, I'm going to definitely plan to continue that. And if things look like they're going to start back up again, I think that it will just be the same motivation then too.
Thanks, Anders. Jimmy Murphy, go ahead. Your line's open.
Hey, Anders, how you doing? I hope you and yours are safe and healthy. And yesterday I was reading about some players, and then I heard one on the radio across the league where players with families right now are expressing a lot of concern about the different scenarios that are being discussed. Being quarantined for an extended amount of time, what the risk might be to contracting COVID-19. And I know that you spoke with your team yesterday, because I think you guys were scheduled to meet with the team and on the Zoom call. I'm wondering if any of that sentiment, you don't have to get into details, but if any of that sentiment was expressed by anyone on the team with families, and if you've kind of been able to step back and see it from a different perspective with regards to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a lot of guys have said, what's going on in the world right now is a lot bigger than hockey. So, I think we've done a good job right now. The NHL has done a great job of, making sure everyone stays safe. And, I think guys, you see posts on social media of doing stuff inside and, trying to influence others to, do the little things that we can do right now to, stop, spread of this virus. So, yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing right now is not hockey or the season. It's obviously keeping people safe. And I think the guys with families and young kids and stuff are obviously concerned about that. I think everyone is a little bit. So, I mean, that's obviously the priority right now. And I think, everyone knows that. So hopefully that continues. And I definitely think it will, based on how everything has gone so far and the decisions that have been made from my perspective.
Thanks, Anders. Just another reminder for media to please click on the raise hand button if you'd like to get in the queue to ask a question. We still have time for a few more. Our next one will come from Mike Petralia.
All right. Thank you. Hi, Anders. How are you? Thanks for doing this.
Of course. Yeah, no problem.
My question is about what may be I mean, you alluded to this a little while ago, but who might you be talking to that keeps you motivated through all this? Charlie Coyle, a line mate, Bruce Cassidy, somebody inside of hockey, outside of hockey. What are you doing to keep your mind focused where it needs to be on hockey?
I would say, yeah, there's definitely a couple people. I think for sure my younger brother is probably the biggest one, because we've trained together most of our life and are working out right now together. And, we just have always had that competitive brotherly love, I guess, whether we're playing roller hockey in the driveway or basketball or we're working out together, we're, pushing each other. But yeah, I've stayed in touch with my teammates. And obviously I wanted to mention our strength coaches. I've talked to them. I mean, I will call. They've been great. I will call them with little questions or whatever, or FaceTime and show them me or my brother to make sure we're doing the exercises right or something. So, they've been great. But yeah, there's a couple of my teammates for sure that I've talked to. I talked to Coyle a decent amount. I think I called him and Corrali and Trump McAvoy, asking them about what they're doing for working out and stuff. In my mind, I was trying to make sure I was doing more than them or something. So I, checked in on them. But I think to me, it's always good to hear what they're doing. And I feel like just a simple conversation definitely gives you a little more motivation to work hard or wake up early to make sure you're getting everything in and eating well, because other guys are kind of doing that right now too. So I mean, I think it's a challenge, but I think I'm definitely grateful that I have the guys in my team that I do who are not only great friends but great teammates, and I think we all push each other for sure. And the culture, as I've talked a little bit about before on this call, is just definitely one that where we're pushing each other constantly. And I think that's very special and cool, and something that I'm definitely trying to embrace even right now during this pause.
Thanks, Anders. We'll take our next question from Sophia. Go ahead.
Hey, Anders, thanks for doing this. Not sure if you read or saw the news at the NBA, but it's going to be state by state depending on how serious the COVID cases are. But they're going to allow some guys on a voluntary basis and not in big groups, but to shoot around, go back to their practice facilities. So it's obviously a sign of hope of things to come. But if the leagues rather were to resume their season, obviously the talk is about being in isolation. And just your personal thoughts on that. We've asked a lot of the players who've come on Zoom what they feel, and they're excited to get hockey back, but the thought of being in isolation for an extended period of time and playing without fans is obviously a bit bitter, so bittersweet there. So just your thoughts on if that was the case, how you would feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be interesting playing without fans and the isolation aspect of that. I think, especially the fans in Boston, because I feel like they're such a big part of the game and obviously humongous part of the atmosphere there, and huge reason why everyone's so proud to be on the Bruins is because of the fan base and the people supporting them. So that would be pretty crazy for sure, playing without fans. But I mean, I don't think I have anything unique to say here. I think, like everyone's probably feeling this way, how weird it is not to be able to skate right now. I think, it's definitely a big change in my life. I feel like, I definitely feel that it's missing. Something big is missing, and that's what it is. So I'm probably as eager as anyone to get back on the ice and start skating again, especially with the guys on our team. But, I think, as I said before too, obviously this safety aspect is the most important. So I think, right now we'll see, but, safety is the number one goal. And I think all the organizations know that. So we'll see. I think, I guess I'll be open to anything, but, definitely excited to get back on the ice as soon as possible.
Thanks, Anders. Matt Castle, your line is open.
Hey, Anders, thanks for doing this. Tori said yesterday that you guys were doing a Zoom call with the team for the first time. I was just wondering how that went, and what was the thing that you missed most about being around the guys every day?
It was good. It was good to see everyone. It was kind of funny. I think, we had a lot of good laughs just on the Zoom call. I felt like I was laughing the whole time. So, we talked about some serious things too, but it was funny to see everyone and just hear their comments. And, I think, so it was great. It was great to see everyone live like that. And as opposed to just texting and stuff, because it's a lot different. But, I think everyone no one was eager to hang up from the call too. So I think you could tell that everyone missed each other and missed hanging around. But yeah, I think, the thing I would say that I miss most about our team is, I would say, it's like obviously cool to be on the ice competing and, going to battle for each other. That's why we love playing the game. But obviously, I think that's what attracts all of us to hockey is, you're out there battling for the guy next to you and, sacrificing for them and the team and stuff. I think so it makes the game the best game in the world. But I think what's really special and cool about our team is, how after the game or after practices and stuff, we have that, fun and light energy around us. And I think, there's never a day that we're not like all laughing together or we're making fun of someone or someone's making fun of themselves. So I think the laughs are probably the thing I miss the most, because no matter how tired you are or how things aren't going your way, you'll always be laughing around the guys on our team. So that's probably what I miss the most right now, for sure. Not that my family isn't funny, but it's just a little different.
Thanks, Anders. We will finish up with the venerable Mike Loftus.
Yeah, we got to get these questions in before I expire, right? Anders, so we talked about this toward the end too. Because of your injuries, you had never played this far into a pro season. I don't think you ever played 58 games in a year before.
No, yeah.
And it's a pro schedule. So, I mean, were you were you starting to, to feel that in any way? And then B, I mean, again, if you're allowed to go back, I mean, how rested and fit do you feel to, like, to be able to hit the ground, running as much as, as is possible?
Yeah, I think I think you definitely feel it playing at that level and just that many games. And I think, yeah, in ways I probably felt it a little bit because I'd never played that many games before. But I mean, that's the main thing. One of the big things I was excited for, to get that experience under my belt this year. So, kind of bummer in that respect that we have had this pause. But I think one thing I learned, which I definitely want to carry with me moving forward, is that it's more of a mental, I would say, it tires on mentally, I would say, more than physically. And I think that's, you can let that get to you and let that make you feel you can, more exhausted, or let the grind of the season get to you, or you can, find ways to stay motivated and stay positive. And I think that's something that I realize it's not necessarily your body giving out. I think it's just you gotta be doing things to make sure you're mentally motivated and positive, because that's what gives you energy to keep playing and keep competing every night, and keep training when you every moment you have the time to during the season, so that you're ready for the next battle on the ice. And I think that's something that I really want to take moving forward, and I think the biggest part of that is not getting too high or too low. It's staying that even keeled and keeping that positive motor running at that good pace all year long. And I think that's something that I definitely want to grow moving forward and keep consistent.